This segment is skills-based job search and skills-based resume development. What does skills-based mean? This describes a practice that focuses on the development of competencies. It is important to understand the concept of skills-based to be able to use it effectively. As we identify skills in our job seekers, we want to understand how to connect these skills to the needs of our employers. A competency versus a credential. What's the difference? A credential is a qualification or achievement, such as a degree or certification, that is acquired through a documented process, such as an exam or clocked hours of coursework. Whereas a competency are the ability to do something based on skills, knowledge, and abilities. This chart helps recap the difference. Another way to remember this is by the quotes in the triangle. For a credential, it's about been there, done that. And for a competency, it is the ability or are you able to do that? Here are just a few examples of both. On our credential side, you will see the Microsoft Office certification, an associate's degree in accounting, whereas a competency is public speaking and negotiation skills. There is not a credential or an exam that you can take to show you do well at public speaking. This is something that is acquired through experience and from doing it. As you go through this process, take a moment and think, how can focusing on skills and competencies help empower residents in their job search? And this takes us to our job search potion. As we are working with job seekers to help them find employment, there's something that comes up a lot, and many times we might not even think about it, but this is biased language. Biased language in job postings is usually unintentional, but it can have a profound impact on job seekers' perspective because it can exclude them from positions that they have expressed an interest in. In order to address the biases in these job postings, we have to understand the impact. As we get into this, take a moment and think, what are some ways that bias may show up in a job posting? There are various types of bias. On this screen, you will see 6 different types. Our first one is job title bias. This is something that we have gotten accustomed to using the male term as a generic phrase. Next, we have gender bias, using terms that may apply to a specific gender. If the position uses terms like gentle, that tends to be more feminine, whereas strong tends to be more masculine. Another bias is racial bias. Certain terms may be connected to historical facts that impact different races. Master is used in many ways to indicate a primary role, but it can be seen as being biased. LGBTQ. In our society, we have to acknowledge that some of our job seekers may not align with the term he or she. Job postings have to be adjusted to be inclusive of all candidates. Ableism. When we speak of ableism, it is the ability to do something. Some of these can include being able to type a certain amount of words per minute or carry a certain amount of pounds. If you use a voice recognition software, does it matter how many words you can type per minute? Ageism. This is something that impacts both our young as well as our more seasoned job seekers. For the younger generation, asking for years of experience may eliminate them. For our more seasoned job seekers, asking for a recent college graduate may eliminate them. As we look for ways to combat bias, there is a tool in our Markle toolkit called the Skillful Job Posting Generator. This will allow our HR teams to create job postings without being biased. I'm going to go ahead and show an example of this tool. This is the website. And what I have done is I've gone into Indeed and picked the top job posting that showed up in my area. I have copied the posting and I will paste it in the decoder. And what this does, it goes through the listing and it tells me that this is a feminine coded job posting. And the reasons why, because there are more terms in this job posting that connect or are more feminine than there are masculine. Understanding how positions can express bias or will be very helpful as we assist our job seekers with identifying and surpassing these biases. And there are various tips that we can do to help our job seekers as they are processing through this. After we have identified the skills within our residents and we identify the positions of interest, the next step is to apply. One tool we are all very familiar with are resumes. When helping our job seekers, we have to think in terms of the employer and look at things from a different lens. Most employers will follow these common practices: relying on credentials, having some form of bias, using an automated resume review system, or doing subjective screening. Having an understanding of these will help prepare our job seekers. As we transition into the topic of resumes, we may all be familiar with the traditional resume. With the traditional resume, it lists your education and work experience. Another form of a resume is a skills-based or a functional resume. These are very useful when we have those job seekers without credentials or without many years of experience. So let's do a quick comparison side by side. Here in this example, this is a posting for a recruiter. Take a moment to look over this job description. Think back to some of the residents or clients that you have served in your career. Based on this information alone, how many of them do you think can do these tasks? Now look at these qualifications. The first one on the list is asking for a bachelor's. Now, you may not have job seekers with a bachelor's degree. Does that mean they should automatically be excluded from this role? This position is what we refer to as a pedigree-based job posting. Now, this is a competency-based job posting for the same position. So here you will notice that they have removed some of the requirements, and instead of asking for degrees, they're asking for skills, knowledge, and experience. So as we are working with our job seekers, there is a tool that we can use to help our job seekers identify the skills they possess. This is our Skills Builder tool available from the Markles Toolkit. Here, we are able to post a job posting or resume from our job seeker. I'm going to change this to my area since I am in Washington, D.C. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the same job description that we used earlier. And as you can see, it's saying based on that job description, it is in line, it's a 77% match for a non-farm animal caretaker. Now, if you recall, that position was for a dog sitter, so it is in line with this. The great thing about this tool is that it provides additional details and a percentage of how is it relevant to these different skills. So based on that job description, getting information, 59% of this role would be about gathering information. These are some skills that will be beneficial in this position. These are the knowledge that you would need. These are some of the skills, and these are the abilities that will be beneficial in this position. The great thing about this tool is you can use it on a job posting to see what skills your job seeker may want to highlight in their resume, or you can take a resume and plug it into this tool, and it will show you what skills, knowledge, and abilities are outlined in that resume. And this concludes our section on skills-based job search and skills-based resume development.